I shared a video earlier today about a pastor in Tennessee that was like yelling about children with autism having being demonic. And I don't really talk about my son, but he does have autism. So that video for sure is very hurtful. Those comments are really hurtful to parents and kids and adults that have autism. And I just think about how hateful all of these people, all of these so-called super ultra conservative Christians like this man are, how hateful they are. I don't understand in what world calling a child a demon is even appropriate. It doesn't make any sense to me. What does it matter if I make a joke calling child's crotch fruits? That's a joke. And I didn't call them disease-riddled crotch fruit. You're just adding the disease-ridden part. I said crotch fruit, which is literally a joke. It's like a goblin. It's like calling a kid a goblin. It's a joke. Take your Karen ass and get out of here.
Blockity block, bitch.
Bye, Chelsea. You're psycho too.
Blockity block, bitch.
Oh, Martha. You exist just to hate people.
Blockity block, bitch.
Who knows what's going on with them, because we'll never know. But we do know that your diseased, riddled, meat fruit or, loin fruit children, nobody wants them. CPS is not taking them.
I didn't call it a disease-ridden crotch goblin. They totally added that.
And she has 7 crotch fruits. And I'm not judging, but it's always the anti-vaxxers that have 87,000 kids. It's so annoying. It's 87,000 disease-riddled meat. Ugh. Okay.
And I didn't call them disease-riddled crotch fruit. You're just adding the disease-ridden part. Online trolls literally live in the world of literal. They think if you say one thing today and it's different the next day, somehow you're a liar. People are the trolls, they think that a joke calling children crotch goblins is somehow the most offensive thing in the world. I did not make that up. Have you guys heard the joke about when you have a kid and you call it a crotch goblin? I didn't make that up. It's a freaking joke. But in the literal world of the trolls, they think that it's the worst thing ever to joke that a child is a crotch goblin. It's a joke. Because your child comes out of your crotch. It does. Your child comes out of your vagina. It's a joke. But these trolls literally think that if you say crotch goblin, somehow you're disrespecting all children. And I made a comment about one day I was being silly and I said oh, Jill Duggar can have all her crotch goblins. It's a joke. Apparently you can't have a joke. I love judging the Duggars or the Duggars or whatever you want to call them and all their dumb crotch fruit. They have so many crotch loin fruits that it's hard to even keep up with them. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm missing one of the crotch fruits. I don't have anything to tell you about Josiah other than he's still gay and he and his wife are still pregnant. All right. And Mrs. Jim, Bob, and Michelle have bred 19 crotch fruits, and Michelle would probably have more goblins come out if she could, but I'm pretty sure her uterus is shriveled up and dead. But people's opinions are allowed to change people's approaches and how they treat people and how they think and how they feel and how they put information out into the world and the jokes that they make, that changes. People have a right to be silly, goofy, and say things that are goofy and silly if they want to say things. If they want to be funny, they have a right to be funny. Not everything is so literal. I don't know. I've heard so many people say it. I didn't come up with it. Like, kids can be little goblins, and you made the goblin, so it comes out of your crotch. I mean, it's the truth. I don't know. I don't know why that's offensive. Crumb snatchers. Can't joke anymore about anything, I guess. Crutch goblins, rugrats, hump dumplings. Yeah. Why is a rugrat any better? Oh, you called kids crotch goblins. Oh, humanity. Oh my gosh. Call the ambulance. Call the wambulance. That's what we would say in our house. Call the wambulance. Are how hateful they are. I don't understand in what world calling a child a demon is even appropriate. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I can't for the life of me understand how people can go after the most vulnerable people in the world. Like, why would you target a child with autism? Why would you do that? Why would you bully a child that way? And why would you think it's okay to make those kinds of comments with 2 million people on a platform, knowing that there's all these people eating up what you're saying, and not consider that there's actually children that you're talking about that are real people? And then that stuff is put out into the world, and it's like, how could you even talk like that about a kid? I'm sorry, I'm so emotional. It just bothers me. It's just hurtful to hear people talk about children that way that are disabled. It's not, children with autism are already up against such obstacles, and then to be so cruel to them, it's horrible. You love the crotch fruits.
Yeah, but what's the problem? Why is Gypsy mad about the act?
Because it makes her look really damn bad.
Well, she murdered her mom.
Well, I think they played up on Nick's autism and made him look way more innocent than he is.
He is absolutely developmentally delayed and should not be in prison.
Not as much as people think.
Not as much as people think.
That is really, the specialists have all contradicted themselves. When you read emails that he does, he is intelligent.
But you can be intelligent and autistic.
Yeah, no, autistic, absolutely. No, not the same, no.
But he's not developmentally slow in any means, no.
But autism is considered a developmental disability.
It's considered a neurological disability.
No, it affects all aspects of development. My son is autistic, so
do you believe that your son could be manipulated into murdering somebody?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Why? And where is your son at on the spectrum?
He's high functioning.
He's high functioning. Why do you think that could happen?
Because they're vulnerable.
Because you're actually the first one that we've talked to that has said that.
I think anyone that has autism can be manipulated because they're vulnerable.
So Dee Dee Blanchard's case just wrapped up, right? So Nicholas Godjun just got sentenced to life in prison for killing her, which PS is super stupid. He shouldn't have gotten life in prison. Dee Dee deserved to die.
I know. like, these kids with autism are the sweetest children you'll ever meet. Like, I hate how society acts like they're like horrible and they're mean and they're cruel and like they're not affectionate. The biggest stereotype about these kids is that they don't know how to have relationships and they don't know how to attach and they don't know how to be affectionate, and that's not true. Like, my son is so affectionate. He is like so hands-on and always wants hugs and always wants kisses, and he's not like, he craves emotional connection. Like,
Effect. Bon. Oh, okay. Bon, you guys, I'm gonna hate this. What? Bon, I don't want you to cry or scream. What is wrong? I'm online, honey.
I just told Sam,
Yes, that's what they're called, is wind chimes, and I don't want you using those right now. They're too loud. And stop yelling at Sam.
Bon, why do you always interrupt me?
I just want to tell you that Daddy just, we were talking downstairs about the way my manics and my Legos.
Yeah.
And then I told him to apologize to me, and then he went upstairs and he wasted my time because of all that yelling he did.
Okay, that's fine. Goodbye.
Oh, you can't say, you don't need to say that to me.
With they have to get to a point in where they have hold on one second. You cannot have him screaming like that. Sorry guys, my son is just like losing, I don't even know where he is. All I can hear him is screaming and my husband doesn't seem to care. Anyway, so mommy's streaming, okay? I hate that people with autism are treated so poorly and are so misunderstood and just chastised and cast out and made to feel like nobody can understand them, or that they're not worthy, or that they're not. It's just so painful for them, and it's so painful for their parents. Like, all these kids want is friends. All they want is acceptance. All they want is to be loved. Second, my son is 6 years old and he often will walk in on streams and interrupt. Sometimes you will see me being short with him. That does not mean I don't love my son. My son has many disabilities and he has a RN and LPN that are here with us every single day to keep him safe. Yesterday, I had to have a nurse leave. I thought I was going to have to call the cops because she would not leave my home. She was screaming at me. She was making my son cry, making my son shake. She basically just like lost her mind on us because I told her that she had to be in the basement and she didn't like that answer. She accused me of treating her like an animal, which I don't. And then if I pointed out that she was staff, she would accuse me of being rude or treating her like an animal. That's actually what she called me. That's actually what she told me yesterday, was that I was treating her like an animal and I wasn't respectful and I was mean to her, which was not the case. Yesterday was probably the most terrifying day my son has ever lived through. He was shaking. It was really scary. And my son didn't understand because he's autistic and he has a low IQ. And he, he believes that when mommy is yelling, it's because mommy's being mean, and sometimes when I'm yelling at him, I'm trying to get him to do stuff. And, and sometimes when I'm yelling at him, I'm trying to get him to do stuff. And so he was like thinking I was being mean to her when she was really like yelling at me. And I was just trying to get a word in edgewise and she wouldn't allow me to talk. So the nurse that we actually just let go, she had been with us for a year and my son was really attached to her. And unfortunately, she was extremely abusive to me and to my son verbally. And I was very patient and put up with a lot of her stuff because my son loved her, and my son doesn't have any friends, like none. And he thought she like called her his best friend. And because of that, I felt very guilty that I didn't like her, or that I think I let some of her bad behavior slide because I just liked that my son had a friend. You know, she came into the home and she was really good with my son. And at the time, we had another nurse that was having some really big problems with boundaries and was disciplining our son, and was commenting about my parenting and telling me, you know, I shouldn't be doing this or I shouldn't be doing that. And, you know, that's again a boundary issue. Like when you're a staff in a home, it's really not your choice to decide how someone parents. The parent is the parent, the staff is the staff. So we had one nurse that just decided she wanted to discipline him, and I never gave her approval to discipline him. And she decided that she was going to start taking away his iPad, and she decided that he needed to do things besides look on his iPad. And she would fight with me about his iPad. She told me that he needs to do more than have his iPad. I've had nurses tell me that what I feed my child isn't right. Told me that she doesn't have to work in a place that has stinky diapers. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. Like she didn't want to be in a basement. One day she didn't want to be in a room. Another day she didn't want to be in his room because she said that she just can't sit in a room all day and be with my son. But that's literally what she's hired to do.
Is he not asleep? Is he asleep?
I have spent 10 hours in that room.
It's been a busy day.
He has life-threatening and multiple health conditions. I am not a crappy mom because I ask him to leave. In fact, I spend most of my day with my son, and we have a very close relationship. So don't come at my parenting. Thanks.
My husband is in the room right next door on the other side of the wall with my son. And my son had me like shoved in in this office all day long. Because he's in this phase right now where he's just like really not into me. He's like all about daddy. All about daddy. Mommy, go away. Mommy, go away. And then he's like, Mommy, you're always working. And then he's like, Mommy, go away. So if I want to come down and see him, he's like, Mommy, go away. Oh, the joys. Oh, the joys of having a child that is 6.5 with autism that can only do his routines and just want his daddy for everything and has completely lost his interest in mommy. I've lost my place in life, you guys. I don't know what I'm doing with myself anymore. Like, my little boy has such a rough life. You don't even get it. Like, he hasn't left the house in months. He only goes to the doctor or to therapy.